I made this video about the horrific scheme that involves the International Monetary Fund not even 24 hours ago. And in the end, this was predicated on a financial system that was backed by gold, with CBDC's distributed ledger technology DLT essentially kind of bringing in a new Bretton Woods. Additionally, I have recently discovered some extremely fascinating information, and to add insult to injury, some additional evidence has also been released to support this. More than that, in all honesty, this is very enlightening. It's hard to believe that something like this is actually taking place. In light of the fact that I created this film a little over 24 hours ago. Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. This is Nick, my name. Those of you who are new to the channel, I hope that by the time you reach the conclusion of this video, you will have subscribed to the channel. Even as far back as 2023, Zimbabwe was one of the primary regions in the world that was really kind of pushing for a gold return CBDC. If we take a quick look at what I indicated in that video, we can see that Zimbabwe was one of the major areas. Now, we are aware that this has been fully launched, and even more recently, we have received some news that bankers are supporting this plan to adopt ZIG, or ZIG, if you will, as a sole currency before the year 2030. Lenders do not favor a long delay if reserves gain, price is stable, and cash and mineral reserves backing ZIG have advanced by 30% since April. To put it another way, this is a significant matter because, as you may already be aware, the support that bankers provide in relation to this will also serve to enhance customer support. However, all of this was planned back in the year 2023. And in a very short period of time, this began to really kind of push heavy, and then it made its way into the real world. As we take a quick look at this, it is important to note that this was causing everything to change. Moreover, it primarily encompasses everything that pertains to the system and the financial sector. A statement made by the Royal Bank of Canada RBC indicates that the token settlement system is now functioning on the bank's existing systems. Nevertheless, it is possible that the RBC will investigate blockchain ledgers in the future. Exactly what it intends to accomplish by acting in this manner is not yet quite evident. Therefore, they were considering blockchain ledgers even during this time period, which was in the year 2023, and yes, they are still considering them even now. In addition, I am of the opinion that they are going to make even more efforts in that regard as we begin to observe the cryptocurrency market expanding, and maturing as well. Nevertheless, in addition to all of this, I mentioned this back in June, and I stated that it is not too complicated. You are now able to back currencies with gold that has been put out. On Distributed Ledger Technologies DLT, seal said that you can revalue gold and tokenize it right now. Indeed, we already have support for this being provided. For all intents and purposes, this is a gold-backed CBDC that is in Zimbabwe's possession. However, when are we going to see a tokenized version of this in terms of gold? Therefore, this occurs whenever we begin to observe the gold standard actually becoming a reality and returning to its previous state. It is also around this time that we begin to observe a revaluation of gold. I am of the opinion that the value of gold will be reassessed in the future. According to what I have stated, I believe that the gold standard will come back, but not in the way that everyone is imagining it will. There are holes in the gold standard theory that are filled by Distributed Ledger Technologies DLTs, and CBDC is one of the people who despises them. Every country has its own central bank, which is backed by a portion of gold that is distributed on a Distributed Ledger Technology DLT, which is most likely private. Finally, there are stablecoins and tokenized items of value, yet you still require something to bridge the gap between these two types of things. In light of the fact that, once again, how many people are truly paying attention to this, the future is going to hit the 99% like a rock wall all at once. How many people are even making the connection between these two things? It is a relatively little percentage of the total, possibly even less than 1%. That is what I would suggest. However, apart from this aspect over here, to rapidly state that it is not $6,600 per ounce, we are currently experiencing a breakdown. Regarding that, the price is actually $885 per ounce. In my opinion, this constitutes a basis of 40%. That's right, the basis is 40%. However, this was presented in the Daily Gold, and he is actually repeating the ITM trading video, which states that around $22,000 per ounce is required to support 100% of the monetary basis and approximately $6,600. Again, this would be $8,800 per ounce. In order to meet the criteria of the Federal Reserve Act of 1913, which needs a 40% backing, or to back 40% of the monetary base, during the month of February in 2008, the price of gold returned 30%. At the current price, that would be close to $6,600 per ounce. To add insult to injury, this would amount to $8,800 per ounce once again. However, what is fascinating about this is that a significant number of individuals believe that a revaluation of gold would never take place. There is no way that will take place. However, a significant number of those individuals are also not paying attention to the events that are taking place right now in relation to our existing financial system. The situation is deteriorating. In order to get out of this situation, get out of that situation and correct this situation, the best way to truly get out of this situation is to revalue gold, tokenize it, fractionalize it, and return to the gold standard, but in a way that simultaneously signals the beginning of the digitalization of finance. Again, the currency is undergoing change just like everything else in our environment. Take, for instance, automobiles as an example. At this point in time, virtually every single vehicle is powered by a chip. The essence of it is that it is operating on a computer. The world around us is moving at such a breakneck speed. There will be no slowdown in the process of digitalization at all. To add insult to injury, we have not yet witnessed the evolution of money in that particular manner. The digital currencies are the focus of our attention here. Should I say that I am a big lover of CBDCs? Certainly not at all. I am not a fan of CBDCs nevertheless. Taking into account the fact that around 98% of central banks are moving in the direction of a CBDC, it is clear that this will occur. However, over here, at Wrath of Condiment, we have Wrath of Condiment interested in, or if a brief article detailing Ripple's acquisition of Medeco could be vital for reliably powering CBDCs that are based off of tangible assets like gold to control liquidity. It should be noted that they are considering smaller economies that are experiencing difficulties, which makes more sense than referring to economies such as the G7 or the G20. On the other hand, Ripple has the ability to tokenize gold and include it into a CBDC if these XRP drops are successful. Ripple's collaboration with Standard Custody and its expertise in CBDC might serve as a bridge between the two systems, allowing for the creation of a digital currency that is fully backed by tokenized representations of hard assets and issued by a central bank. In all seriousness, this is exactly what I have been expressing for quite some time, dating all the way back to the years 2023. At this moment, it appears that we are receiving confirmation that this may very well become a reality in the near future. The Zimbabwe Central Bank, which just unveiled a new mechanism to connect its currency to a physical asset such as gold, is also cited in this article. The complete breakdown, however, is presented here. It is not out of the question to consider tokenizing this gold and adding it into a CBDC. This would be an additional step that might be taken, for the purpose of holding tokenized gold for its institutional customers. HSBC Holdings engaged Medeco in the previous year, a central bank digital currency that is entirely backed by tokenized representations of hard assets, sometimes known as gold, might be created through Ripple's cooperation with Standard Trust and its experience in CBDC. This would facilitate the creation of a bridge between the two systems. This is a really significant matter. There have been several occasions when I have discussed it. Remember to pay attention to what the central bankers are telling you as we examine the current situation. Pay close attention to what the big institutions, such as the BIs and the IF, have indicated. Every single one of them has brought up this movement toward tokenization, CBDCs, and even gold altogether. Every single thing is shifting, and we have been discussing this for such a long time. Now, in addition, here we have from April 9th of the previous year, when lawmakers in Texas suggested a digital currency for the state that would be backed by gold. At this point, not much has transpired as a result of this, but we are aware that this was a bill that was in effect, and we are completely unaware of what transpired. I do not believe that it had already moved on. The date that this act will go into effect is September 1st, 2023, according to both of the legislation that we have, despite the fact that neither of the laws has been enacted or offered for a vote. Nothing really happened as a result of